Hope you all are having an awesome day. Thank you for coming in on another episode of the Riddle Report. I'm Ronnie Mack, your host. And to my right, your left, is a very well dressed gentleman. It's Connor Runkle. We're going to do his intro real quick, and then we're going to get deep into the story. So, thank you all for being here, and thank you for being a part of our Riddle family and community. So, welcome to the Riddle Report podcast, where we explore the dynamic journeys of exceptional individuals in aviation, space, and engineering. Connor Runkle is an aeronautics major with an emphasis in business and law. He is Air Force ROTC, where he mixes humor, creativity, and imagination. He's also passionate about mental wellness, where he's supporting or bringing to our campus the Cadet Care Connect program to support the mental wellness of our Air Force ROTC individuals. He currently works in the Dean of Students office and has a long-term goal of being a Judge Advocate General in the Air Force. I'm your host, Ronnie Mack, and we officially welcome Connor Runkle.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, man, thank you for being here. Thanks for making the time.
Absolutely.
Cool. First off, great haircut, by the way.
Thank you.
No problem. So before we jump in, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be here. Had PT early this morning, so I was up at 5 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Ran a couple miles, and now I'm here. So it's been a good day. Good Friday.
We appreciate the dedication. So for our first question, just tell us about your backstory. Who is Connor, and how did you get to Riddle? Like, what is that background story?
Yeah, it's a long question.
We got time.
Long answer. So, I think really it starts, how I got here, right, is a long road. I was in the International Baccalaureate program back in my high school, so that was an awesome experience to kind of go above and beyond through my high school years and really set myself up for college. I was ready. I had scholarships. I had a plan. I was going to go to Colorado State University, which was 15 minutes from my home. And I was going to be a history teacher with a minor in sociology. Like, I had everything planned.
Okay.
And then COVID hit. Yeah. And all of the scholarships I had lined up were gone in the blink of an eye because they were all in-person scholarships, right? They were all banking on the fact that I go to CSU in person, attend there. And so they went away. All that financial aid was gone. So I had to figure out, I had to pivot and figure something else out. So I decided that the best opportunity for me was to enlist in the Air Force.
Okay.
And that way I could get my college paid for. Because that was, I knew that was my long-term goal. I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I figured, hey, might as well go in, try to get the GI Bill. And after my term of service, I'll, go to college.
Okay.
So I enlisted as a C-17 crew chief, which was way different than anything I had done. I was raised suburbs of Loveland, Colorado, never touched anything mechanical in my life.
Oh, wow.
And then all of a sudden I'm working on a $500 million aircraft. So that was pretty cool. Cool change in direction. I got to see a lot. Went all over the world on that jet, and we can talk about it later, but kind of fell into some mental health programming in the Air Force. Cool. So that was it was a tough experience how I got there, but really, a great impact and just a wonderful community of people that I got to work with.
Okay.
To kind of bridge that gap of mental health care in the Air Force. And through that work, I got a scholarship to end my enlistment contract early and come here. So that was, kind of cool. I had my long-term goal and I ended up hitting it earlier than I wanted to initially, and it worked out. So now I'm here as an aeronautics major.
Okay. And then tell me more about the aeronautics major, and I think we were talking about some pivots there too. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so active duty, I was in obviously C-17 maintenance squadron, and then my wing commander, who I ended up working for, she was a pilot. So I was around pilots, working with pilots, and I was like, man, like, I'm so inspired by these people that I want to go be a pilot now, right? And so I came to Riddle, got the aeronautics major. Like, yes, I'm going to go. I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to fly. I'm going to learn all about planes and everything like that. And then I got here, and I realized after a year that I'm not really passionate about flying.
At least you know.
At least I know, right? got out early enough.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where I realized that the leaders I was around, I wasn't inspired by them because they were pilots. I was inspired by them because of what they did for people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they really cared about the people around them.
Gotcha.
And they really wanted to make a difference, and they did. Um, Colonel Hansen was my wing commander, and she was the one who kind of opened the door for those mental health programs. And watching her work, I was like, man, I want to be like that, right? I want to be that kind of leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought in the moment, like, oh, being a pilot is the only way to do this. And now that I'm here, kind of been on my own, doing my own thing, I have a flight now in ROTC of 18 cadets, and I get to see them grow and mature in this program. It kind of showed me, like, hey, maybe I'm not inspired to be a pilot, but maybe I am inspired to help other people. And so that kind of sparked the, mental navigation to being a JAG in the Air Force. So that way, I have a passion for law. I love it. I'm in my first real law class this semester and absolutely love it. And that's something I want to pursue.
Gotcha.
Going forward. So
yeah, what does supporting your cadets look like? Like, what are their everyday lives? What are they dealing with, and how do you help them reach their goals?
Yeah, a lot of them, it's different, right? I never had that perspective of coming to college for the first time away from parents and everything like that. Dean Bell at the Dean of Students office is always telling me that I'm a non-traditional student.
Shout out Dean Bell.
Yeah, shout out Dean Bell.
That's not like Dean Bell.
Yeah, he always, I come to him and I'm like, man, this cadet is having this problem and this cadet's having that problem. And I don't know what to do. Like, I don't. He's like, it's because you're a non-traditional student. I'm like, stop saying that. He's right. He's absolutely right. But he reminds me of that, right? So I don't have that perspective, that they're coming from. So a lot of them, this is their first time away from home. And all of a sudden they are thrown in to college, which is already a beast of its own, right? You got to attend classes on your own. You're not getting your hands held through this. It's not one big school, right? It's multiple different, multiple different colleges within the university. You're bouncing between buildings, bouncing between classes. You're juggling everything on your own. And you go home and your family's not there. Some of them, it's their dog isn't there, right? And that's kind of the weight that they're feeling. And I'm like, why are you sad about that? But I've already had that experience going into the military, right?
That's true.
I left at 18 and I was gone. I haven't been home really since that. Right? It's been almost 6 years since that happened, since I made that shift. They're just getting their feet wet. So, but not only do you have college, you have ROTC. You have people like me who go and yell at you for doing the smallest thing wrong.
Motivating you in a strategic way.
Yes. Right. We never yell without a purpose, right? But it's stressful if you don't understand the purpose, and a lot of them don't yet. When I first got here, or when I first got to basic, I didn't understand why is this tech sergeant yelling at me? Why is this cadet yelling at me? And it's because we need to build your resiliency, right? We need you to see and understand. And sometimes we're yelling at you, but we're yelling for the flight, right? We're yelling for the rest of the cadets. So you just happen to be the unlucky one that has to get the
focus of the lesson.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that, it's a powerful tool. But again, when you're new, this is your first time in it, and you're 6 weeks into being a college student and a ROTC student, on top of all the other clubs and obligations that we ask of you, as a school, as a ROTC detachment, it can be a lot of pressure. So a day-to-day for them, the day-to-day stressors, it's hard for me to relate to. But for them, I mean, it's their whole world, and it's brand new.
Yeah.
So that's really, I mean, the day-to-day is just, it's hectic, and I can empathize with them a lot on that.
Yeah. But it sounds like when you were kind of mentioning your bio, mixing humor and creativity, how did you maybe adapt your leadership to meet them where they are, but still keep them resilient?
Yeah.
So I think we think adapting means we water down rigor, but it sounds like you haven't done that at all.
No, I've tried to take a different approach with my flight, and we have 22 flights in our detachment. So I mean, and each flight has about 15 to 18 cadets. So you can just imagine the scale that we're working with, right? I think we have close to 700 total cadets in our det. So it's a lot of people. But for my 18, trying to blend in that little element of humor, I've seen great results from that.
Okay.
Because there's some, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but there are some POC that They go in there and they're always like locked in, right? They're always stone faced. They're not approachable. And that's a type of leadership that is fine, right? If it works for you, it works for you. But for me, I found that if I can make them laugh a little bit, if I can throw in some humor, if I can throw in a joke or two in between, yelling or motivating them, right?
Yeah.
If I can throw in a joke or two like that and get them to smile, it makes them remember a little bit better.
Okay.
Kind of grounds them, right? It's not my job to make them be scared of me. I don't want that. I want to be approachable. And so I found that for my flight staff and I, we have been approached more by our cadets than I would say the average flight staff is.
Oh, wow.
For personal issues. And I mean, yes, they're away from family, but a lot of them are still dealing with family stuff. We're talking about divorce, right? 6 weeks into college and your parents get divorced.
Yeah.
That's rough, right? That is not an easy conversation.
Where do you go home to if there's a home split? Yeah.
So that's a lot of stress. And so a lot of them, I don't think, would come forward if we didn't have that element of humanity within our training. So that's something I've really tried to emphasize is, yeah, we're in a training environment. Yes, there's a time to be serious, but there's also a time to be a person and have a little bit of fun. Throw a joke or two, right? And again, like the retention that they have when we do that, when we train like that, is just night and day from if we didn't have that.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to jump a little bit to talk to me about some of your classroom experience. What's some of your favorite classes? What's some of your involvement on campus outside of the ROTC experience?
Yeah, outside of the ROTC experience. So as far as classes go, I loved my technical report writing class last year. I had to write, it's a 24-page paper throughout the semester. I loved that class. I know a lot of unpopular opinion.
I'm about to say,
for most.
That's what I was kind of like. I'm glad to hear it. Shout out to our communications department.
Yeah. I had a Professor Haller. She was awesome.
Yeah,
like
she's awesome.
Good feedback, very manageable time set for the scale of the project that she was asking for. And that was just a good like pulse check for me to see like, hey, are my writing skills, is my education skills, am I still like in the game?
Gotcha.
Right? I've been away from school for a few years, coming back in, can I still do it? And so that class was like my wake up call to say like, hey, you got this, if you can do a 24-page paper, like you're good, like you'll be good. So again, not an engineer, so I don't know what the engineers are going through. So I know a 24-page paper for them is probably nothing, but to me it was a good bit of reassurance. So I'm very thankful for that class. To it showed me like still got this. Right?
Gotcha.
This semester, I'm in a lot of cool classes, but again, my health safety aviation law class with Professor Murphy is probably my favorite one. Because he leads with humor too, which is really cool. Because we don't think of the law as something humorous most of the time.
Yeah, I just think about getting sued, so I need to know it.
But he does. He brings in some humor, and granted, it is dry humor. It is bone dry.
Yeah, but
it works and it makes it funny. And he'll say things. He'll make a joke and not even have a reaction to it. The whole class is laughing. He's still teaching, and you can tell that he's having fun with it. He's trying to
keep it in.
Exactly. But it makes it fun. It makes it memorable. So love those classes, love those professors. I don't think I've had a bad class here yet.
That's good.
Or one that was unenjoyable. So,
okay.
And then outside of ROTC, kind of guilty admission, I'm not involved with a ton.
But
not a ton of
dean of students.
Yeah.
Though.
Yep. So I do work for the dean of students as a student assistant, and that is a really cool experience to see the school operate from the inside.
Gotcha.
Right? See what we do on the day-to-day basis that maybe some other students don't get access to. Right? So it's a cool amount of perspective for me to see like what does a day-to-day look like on the operation side of the school, not just a student going to class. How does that student get to class? How are they supported throughout that process? And if they do fall behind, what does the process look like to get them back up to par? And I think we do a really good job of getting students back to where they need to be if they're willing to work with us. So,
yeah. And then you also are creating opportunities. So tell me a little bit more about the cadet care program, how that will look on campus in the future, because now you're creating opportunities of involvement.
Yeah, so trying to. So Cadet Care and Connect is a program we started in ROTC. It mirrors some of those mental health projects I alluded to earlier. And it's all about peer support, right? We're not training experts, but we're training someone to say, sit down and have that difficult conversation on suicide awareness and intervention and sexual assault awareness and intervention, like really heavy topics, right? That not necessarily all college age students are going to be exposed to right away, especially how to deal with them and intervene in those situations.
Gotcha.
So that's the purpose of Cadet Care and Connect, and we launched it in the Air Force ROTC program, hence the Cadet Care and Connect. But
Gotcha.
Pushing now to make it Campus Care and Connect, and open it to the wider college population. So it's not just an ROTC thing; it'll be a school-wide kind of initiative. And we've taken inspiration from a lot of different universities that have their own peer support programs, and a lot of them have amazing programs that are like fully fleshed out, running, operating. And I think it's an important thing to have, especially on an aviation campus.
Yeah, true.
Where a lot of people are worried about their FAA ratings, their medical screenings, they're worrying about what's going to go on their mental health report. Are they going to get DQ'd from flying? So having a support program that's all full of peers, I think is super beneficial to have at a university like this, because it gives you an avenue to reach out if you need it.
Gotcha.
So that's the initiative there, and working with the counseling center, who are all fantastic people to work with. Caitlin Boyland is kind of my main point of contact over there, and she's just been phenomenal to work with. She redid our slideshow. She updated training. She used her background knowledge to kind of give us another section of training as well, to go over like common mental health disorders. Again, not so we can diagnose as peers, but so we can be aware of it. Someone comes up and says, "Hey, I have anxiety disorder." Okay, what does that mean? We need to know that so we can have this conversation with this individual and see where do we need to take them, right? So that's kind of the whole point of that program.
Gotcha.
And I think it's got a lot of potential, and it's already had some great results. So on the ROTC side, and I'm excited to see where it goes and how it impacts the broader campus community.
Okay. So speaking in that vein, how does Connor take care of Connor? What is your kind of go-to mental wellness development? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so when I need to recharge, my go-to, and this sounds so nerdy, but my go-to is Lego Star Wars. Oh man,
I think it's typical for our students.
I have anyone who knows me or has been over to my place, they know about my Lego Star Wars collection. It is a full room of sets. And so when I need to unwind and have some me time, that's what I do. I'll go to Target or the Lego store, grab a set, and just tune out the world for a little bit. Right? Focus on me. And then also just, if I am struggling with something, communicating that, right? Communicating those struggles. If I'm unhappy with something, if I see that something needs to change, I'll talk about it first, right? And try to find a solution to whatever that problem is, and then working with people to get that solution solidified. But if it's more on the personal end, it's just, you just got to talk about it. And I think that especially, in the male community, as men, we really struggle with talking about ourselves and our issues. We try not to focus on it, and we try to push it down and put it in a little box and store it away forever. That doesn't work. Fun fact. Works for a little bit. Not forever. So learning how to open up that box and let those thoughts and feelings out and those emotions out and discussing them in a healthy way, I think is super important. And that's a skill that, man, I have had to learn. Because when I first started on this kind of mental health and wellness journey back in the Air Force, I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut. I was always good to go. Even if that was untrue. So it's really been a skill that I've had to hone and focus on, and come to terms with the fact that I'm not perfect, right? And it's not a flaw to talk about your shortcomings mentally, right, or emotionally. You got to talk about it. And I think that's other than Lego Star Wars, I'd say that's the biggest factor in me being able to perform every single day, is just talking about it.
Any advice in that vein, and just for
Mm-hmm.
overall success, because some students may hear, well, you're a ROTC student, like
Mm-hmm.
you're organized, but what about me as a regular student, or maybe not ROTC? What does that still success or care
Mm-hmm.
for myself look like? Similar or
Yeah, I would say similar. Um, I would encourage any student on the campus, if they're not already, to get involved in the club.
gotcha?
Doesn't have to be ROTC.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest factor that I have seen in people either being mentally okay or maybe mentally not okay is if they have a community or not,
Oh yeah.
right? I think above all, that sense of community is you have to communicate your problems, but if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a community, you can't,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that finding that community is the first step.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, I know we have all kinds of clubs on this campus. There's a club for everyone. And if there's not, you can start one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's where a lot of the freshman cadets that I see,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're in ROTC. That's one big club. But outside of it, who are you? Right. So that's where I see a lot of them struggle with is if they're a cadet 24/7 and all of a sudden we're out for the summer, we don't have training, training's canceled, they're not
Yeah.
around their other cadets, they kind of go into their shell a little bit because then they're just a normal student again. So I encourage my cadets to get out, get
Mm-hmm.
involved, be involved with the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be involved in the clubs. And I could do a lot better of that too.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own communities and circles and everything like that, though, that I've, made my niche in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that finding that sense of purpose and belonging is key. And that's where I think a lot of people struggle. So, first step is finding community.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I'm gonna shout out a couple of our earlier episodes. Our episode with Faith Lee, she talked about building those connections and being involved on campus. But our Dr. Heinbaugh episode, she said it from a faculty standpoint of importance of friendship, networks.
mm-hmm.
Networks are just another version or flavor of community in some capacities. But really, where do you belong at as you figure who you are?
Yeah,
So I really appreciate you sharing that.
absolutely.
As you navigate life as a student, what are, or just since you've been here, any big achievements or accolades that you're extremely proud of?
I would say my biggest achievement so far. Oh man, that's a hard question.
That's cool. We got time.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that my biggest achievement so far, honestly, being selected as a flight commander in ROTC. I
Mm,
know that, for some it's like, oh, it's a cliche answer, but no, like really getting to see the development of these cadets throughout the
mm,
semester. I mean, we're only 6 weeks into the semester,
mhm,
but seeing where they were at day one
mhm,
and now seeing where they're at week 6
mhm.
is night and day,
Gotcha.
right? And we've still got, how many more weeks? 10 more weeks of the
Mm-hmm.
semester.
Dang, yeah,
Yeah.
good job.
Not 9, I think 9 weeks,
Mhm.
15 weeks total.
Yeah.
Not that I'm counting, but
It's almost Christmas, y'all.
yeah. But no, like seeing their development, that's rewarding for me, right? Is seeing day one, who are you? Some of them have no idea who they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some of them come in and it's just blank slate. They're ready to go, ready to learn. So being able to be a part of that development
Mm-hmm.
has been one of the coolest opportunities that I've had so far.
Mm-hmm.
And not many, I'm a junior this year in ROTC. Not many juniors get selected for this role. It's typically a senior only role.
Gotcha.
So being trusted by my command team to fill this role and then execute the mission that has been set out for us and then overseeing their development too. I mean, what an honor,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think the coolest opportunities that you can ever be presented is that of the development of others, right? So if you can find yourself in any role where you're the mentor, where you're the leader, where people are looking to you for advice and guidance, even if it's something like ROTC, which isn't technically an official military program,
Yeah.
right? I think you should absolutely capitalize it if the opportunity presents itself,
Mm-hmm.
because it is just the coolest feeling in the world, the most
Okay.
rewarding feeling in the world.
That's awesome. One question I have, because we may have some future ROTC students that listen to us from high school. Like, what is that transition for them? What steps should they be getting ready for if they want to be a part of ROTC here at Embry-riddle?
I would say be ready to unlearn what you have learned,
Mm.
right? It's a term that we use called a debt-ism,
Okay. I'll write that down.
And a detism is, something that we do at our detachment that is specific to us.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got here, detism that we do is we fall into what we call line formation.
Mm-hmm.
So when you fall into flight, everyone is facing, to the left. And in basic training, we all fell into column formation.
Oh, got you.
And so when I got here, I was ready, I was pumped, I was excited, and they said fall in, and I was the only one facing straight.
At least you're confident.
Yeah, I was. I was confidently wrong.
Yeah.
But it took me some time to kind of unlearn that habit. You have some cadets that are coming in from Army ROTC, Navy ROTC. Some of them wanted to go Marine, and then they chose Air Force instead. And it is such a different world between those different detachments, between those different programs. So you got to come in here with an open mind, and you got to be ready to learn. And I think with that, something that Colonel Adams, our current detachment commander, says a lot is you got to be humble, right? You got to be humble. This program will humble you, whether you want it to or not. It will humble you, and you will fail, but you can't be scared of that. You got to come in with that open mind, humility, and just be ready to learn. Learn our way.
Yeah.
Because your way, I hate to say it so, crass, but your way doesn't matter. We don't care about your way anymore. It is Det 157's way. And we're going to train you to be the best cadet that we possibly can, because we've seen the results of our way. We had, touting some statistics, last year we had 44 out of 45 who applied to get a pilot slot, got a pilot slot in the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
Right? Second only to the Air Force Academy out of the entire country.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a huge feat, right? And then we had some incredible non-rated positions too. We had a ton of cadets get their, between their first and second choice for their non-rated jobs. So we had a lot of cadets go intel, which is a really sought after position to get. I really want to, hype those members up too, because, that's due to our training. That's due to the methods that we have. So if you are coming in from JROTC or another detachment, or maybe you're a freshman now and you want to join ROTC your sophomore year, which you absolutely can do, just be ready to unlearn and then relearn and be humble.
Gotcha. And I feel like those are lessons as they graduate and maybe go straight into the military, but also for our students going into the industry.
Yeah.
There's going to be some great theories and great things they learn, or some great almost habits they may develop that may have to be reorganized or unlearned as they go into industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's some great things to learn. Any final words for our audience? Any final challenges? Any encouragement for them?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing that I've had to learn is be ready to pivot. Be ready to pivot. I've had to adapt a lot and adjust a lot between where I was going to go to school, when I was going to go to school, what I wanted to go to school for, and then now what do I want to do as my job. I'm a little older than your typical college student, but I'm still learning. I'm still changing. I'm still growing. I'm still pivoting. And it is never too late to change your mind, right? My mom and I always joke. She's had a stable job for almost 20 years now and everything like that. But she always jokes with me. She's like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm an adult, right? I'm like, Mom, I'm an adult. So, but I think that's a really cool perspective for her to have, is what is she going to do after she's done, right? She's not done growing yet. And I think if you can admit, I'm not going to say her age because she'll get mad at me.
She ain't going to beat me up.
Yeah. But if you can admit when you've had a stable job and when you are an adult that, hey, there's something else out there. I don't know what it is yet, but there's something else out there and I'm going to chase it. You don't have to know exactly what it is, but be ready to pivot, be adaptable to that, and be open to it. Because I think that's really the key to success.
Yeah.
So what you're doing today, who you are today, does not have to be who you are or what you have to do tomorrow. Or maybe just because you're in a certain degree program here, bring it down to the college level. Just because you're in a degree program here doesn't mean you have to stay in that. You can always change it, right? Or if, let's say, you graduate with your degree. My mom she had a finance degree,
Okay.
and she ended up in accounting. And it's very similar, right? But
Mm-hmm.
different degree.
Yeah, sure.
Um, she loved it for a while, right? And now she's in a completely different role where it's customer service based.
Okay.
She's not even using her degree, right?
Mm.
So I would say your degree doesn't define what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So for the students listening to this,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't define you, and you're not locked into that. So,
And she's probably dealing with something with your ROTC students of, okay, she probably has this identity that she created. And if she would have held on to that identity, she probably wouldn't be doing customer service, or she may be locked into something else.
yep.
Mm.
She loves this new role.
That's
She tells me every day, calls me every day, hey, I love this job. And I'm like, cool, thanks.
Thanks for the reminder. I guess we'll talk again tomorrow.
Yep, it's the seventh time this week, and it's only Wednesday that you've told me this.
That's amazing. That's a great job.
So she loves it, right? And it's cool that she's been able to chase that opportunity, and it's a point of inspiration for me too. So I think it's a valuable lesson for anyone to learn.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I appreciate it. Final question we ask all of our guests: what is your go-to Chick-fil-A order?
Ooh, go-to Chick-fil-A order is a spicy chicken sandwich meal with extra pickles, a large fry with Chick-fil-A sauce and ranch, and a Diet Coke.
Okay.
Yeah, got that on lock.
There you go. There you go. Feel free to order that if you are on lunch break, wherever you are. But Connor, it's really been a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate your insights. I appreciate the life lessons that you have mixed in. And I appreciate you shedding light and humor even in the military aspect of it and being able to adapt to support your leaders.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity. This has been great.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So thank you for sharing your experience on a Riddle Report. We are excited to continue to bring you these stories so you can know the fabric of our campus and understand us a little bit more, whether you're a parent, whether you're a student, whether you're a community member. We want you to be a part of this Riddle family. So I'd like to end every episode with this statement: one story, one community, one ERAU. Have a great day.